have the capability to make the world's first bionic man.
The incremental.
Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.
Stop whining. I'm gonna die!
Oh, yeah! You're gonna cry? You're gonna cry, kitty baby? Oh, you're gonna fucking cry? Look at him, he's crying. It's gonna be mental! It's going to be mental.
Sweat Equity Podcast. Kind of. It's just me, Eric. It's been a minute since I've been able to talk to you privately. But, things come up in life and you just got to get some stuff out. I mean, to say there's things going on in the world is understating it. I think you know where I'm going with this because I bring it up almost every episode of the regular show. So today is a very special episode. We're going to be going deep on a lot of different things. I don't know if the loyal listeners out there noticed that I took a hiatus from the show for the first time ever. Even through the divorce, I managed to tough it out, but got to a point where I was like, man, I don't want this to be an obligation. I don't want it to feel like I don't like doing it. So I had to tell the law, take some time off. Part of that is I picked a terrible time to pick a new vocation, that's for sure. I mean, to teach is one thing. To teach PE is a whole nother thing when it comes to getting tired because, man, I come home every day and I am done for. Doesn't help that nobody ever listens. But really, that's not what's super important. Although I do think that, I think everybody should be a teacher like the Israelis in the army. Everybody should be a teacher. Everybody should be a cop for like a year. Just so that we all have to get on the same level and understand what goes into that. Because, man, both of those jobs are just, you don't appreciate it like you should. I'll tell you that much. And I do want to say thank you to Law, just because anytime I've ever gone through like a just downtime, whatever you want to call it, he's the one person that's always there checking in on me. He's always making sure, how's your head? How's it going? How's your noggin is what he'll say. And, I do appreciate that because even though we do needle each other a little bit while the show's going on and stuff, like it's somewhat of an act, like we're just having fun. I know he can take it. He knows I can take it, but we're like brothers. I love him and I appreciate the love he shows me just by giving a shit. I mean, it's crazy, It's easy to let people sort of do their own thing. You can kind of just write them off in terms of just like they'll be fine, they're all right, but not everybody's doing all right. Not all your friends are doing okay. I'm not trying to make you feel bad for me. I'm saying think about your friends that maybe you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe they're not doing so great. But anyways, the stuff that has really come to the forefront as of recently, I think we all know what we're talking about. Aliens, other things, who knows what it is. Everything can be real now. Anything. Ghosts, mermaids, leprechauns. Remember this guy?
Killers, camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun say yeah?
Look how happy that guy is, man. He's just happy to be talking about the leprechaun on the news. It's a classic. Who knows what that thing was? Could have been an alien. But I just want to get some thoughts out on this stuff because, there's a lot coming at us. And, I do want to say, if there's something, if I go through all these different stories and happenings, and you haven't heard of one of them, you need to like reevaluate what you're doing, because at any given point in history, if one of these things came out before the internet and social media, it would be the story of the century. Hey, we look at this video of an alien. Like, what? Of a spaceship. But now, it's not so much. Now, everything has a freaking debunking. It doesn't matter if it's certified by the government with a big stamp. People will debunk it. It's the favorite thing to do on the internet. So as I talk about all these different things, think about this. There is a preponderance of occurrences going on here. If one of them's real, does it not lend credence to the others, if anything? I mean, when do you draw the line? When do you start giving a shit? You know? I think the thing that bothers me a lot, and I was talking to Law about this on the podcast, is the disinformation, because it's prevalent. I was talking about how the day that the jellyfish UAP video came out, I just happened to be on Reddit at that time, and the speed at which the people wanted to talk trash and debunk was insane, and to the point to where it was like, this is obviously something programmed in. This was something timed. Somebody had an alarm set to start talking shit about Jeremy Corbell because he's a crook and all this stuff. Man, ask yourself, what is the motivation for people? What is the motivation? I know Jeremy Corbell's making money, but does it really, is he really a government agent? Like, that's the guy you choose. That's how you go about it. You know, he's the guy that came out with the Bob Lazar documentary, which is on Netflix, which is really cool. And anytime you hear Bob Lazar come up, people want to point to his record because he has some questionable college credits and like records of when he went to college and where he went and all this stuff. And to me, that in itself is like, of course that's the guy that they're going to hire to look at this stuff, because they can say, hey, don't listen to this guy. He doesn't have any college credits. You know, like, why would you hire somebody who's airtight locked up? Because if they come public, then they're going to be a lot harder to shoot down than somebody like Bob Lazar, who builds jet engines into his cars and, you know, ran a brothel apparently. That sort of thing is gold to whoever's running things and trying to keep a secret. They want somebody who's easily, defeated, or at least questioned. I don't know. It's just a lot to take in right now. That's all I can say. It's just, I think the thing that like got me going a lot on it was a show called Ghost Adventures. I've talked about that on the podcast also because, you know, it was a big part of my life for a moment. But, you know, that's a show where they started out with 3 guys. One guy had to leave the show because of the stress it was causing. He claimed to have stuff going home with him, hauntings at his house. There's 300 plus episodes, 25 seasons. At the very least, it's entertaining. You know, my point about Ghost Adventures is like, is that going to be different than Aliens? Are we going to find out that's like a side hustle of the alien somehow? Like, what is the difference between an alien phasing in and out of matter in front of your eyeballs than a ghost doing what it pleases, you know, in another realm? It's the biggest thing is like, we don't know shit. We don't know anything. We need to stop pretending like we know something. I mean, that's the bottom line. Because it drives me crazy to have, even my daughter was watching Ghost Adventures and she's like, it's so fake. I'm like, where's your sense of wonder? I thought about it as like, okay, where's your sense of horrifying yourself and scaring the shit out of yourself? I get that. But still, like, to say it's fake without even watching it, it took me 300 episodes to really buy in, I guess. But these guys are not the world's greatest actors, that's for sure. There's no way that they're faking all of it. I mean, it would be crazy for them to fake all of that and to manifest scratches on their backs and move things that are apparently sitting there alone. Like, why not just be like, hey, maybe that's real. Maybe that's real. Maybe tons of shit's real that we don't understand. Just because we don't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't have credence. Something I do remember bringing up that really kind of blew my mind. It started out with the different colored dresses, and this leads back to like how we don't know shit, like how like reality is kind of fucking whatever. But you had the picture of the dress. It was like, is it black and yellow or blue and gray or whatever? It was like, okay, well, that's a fun optical illusion game to play. And then later on, we had Laurel and Yanny. Remember that? What do you hear, Laurel or Yanny? Well, I hear it different every time. How about Brainstorm or Green Needle? Brainstorm. Some people are hearing Green Needle. Okay. That's a great other like fun thing, but to me it was like so people just hear whatever the fuck they want and reality is different for them. The person was murdered with a green needle, sir. Where was it kept? Well, I was brainstorming, like, to hear words differently and for them to be true in your head. And I was sitting there listening to earlier, just trying to prepare because, I'm a pro. First time I heard it, this particular YouTube clip, I was like, green needle. And it was like, focus on brainstorm. Now it's only brainstorm. What? Huh? How? So just nothing's real. Nothing is real. This table isn't real. Another thing I talk about on the podcast, all this shit is empty. All of this hard matter that you think is real, this microphone, you think, this thing's, it's a solid piece of metal and circuits and whatever the hell goes into making these things. That's real. But not really. Most of it's all empty space. Most of everything around us is nothing. Huh? What else? What else is there? Just nothingness as far as we know. Oh, okay. How can nothing be there? I thought that everything had to have something in it. No, it's just as far as we know, it's nothing. Oh. So, I mean, I'm not going to get too far into quantum physics and all of that, but like, the idea that we're in a hologram is just so mind-blowing. And when a scientist says that this seems to be what makes sense for our models of physics, that we have a two-dimensional projection from another higher dimension that we experience in 3D and all this stuff, the metaphor that I heard from another podcast, if I'm being honest, was that, we see shadows on a cave wall. We're stuck in this cave and there's something going on outside this cave. But all we see is the shadow of what's happening outside. But we take that as reality. Ooh, look at these shadows. They're the real thing. But the real thing is outside playing whatever, hopscotch, maybe, I don't know. So the point being, like, again, we don't know nothing. I started to get into, like, dark matter, dark energy. Oh, where's my little infographic? Look at that. I'm looking at an infographic showing that only 4.9% of what makes the entire universe is ordinary matter, and everything else we basically have no fucking idea. 26.8% is dark matter. 68.3% is dark energy, which they just basically give a name to what is causing the accelerated expansion of the universe. Okay. Is there a chance that all that other shit is the other dimension on sitting on top of us, having, around us all the time? Yeah, that is a possibility because nothing's real anymore. And like I said, like, there are no more fucking rules. Men in Black is real. It's a documentary. In my opinion. It's just, there's so many different things. They say that there's multiple species of aliens. Well, that's cool. So then we're going to have to learn all that. We're going to have to learn the differences. We're going to have to go to history class for where the aliens are from. Where are you from? They got videos between the moon landings and the space station. Space station has videos of things docking up to it and little plasmoid figures flying around looking for electricity because that's apparently what they eat. Huh? We're just now picking up on it. Okay. Where you want to go to the moon landing? You want to talk about that and all? I'm not going to get into whether I think the moon landing was real or not because it kind of shits on, if I don't think it's real, it kind of shits on the idea that all these guys that went to the moon talk about, oh, we got visitors. That's on film. Oh, we got visitors again. They don't give a shit. Oh, big deal. Aliens flying around. Okay, well, we got rocks to collect and analyze. Okay. We'll talk to the other species of aliens later. I mean, when do we buy in, guys? How much more do we want to see? I started to tell Law about the jellyfish UFO, which if you're watching at home, I'm playing. Turn this sound off. But, you got this little freaking gremlin thing flying around. It's not like at a birthday party. It's at a motherfucking Air Force base or something in Iraq. It's kind of like when it comes to video evidence, you can't really beat it. You see it floating around, creepy as fuck, changing temperatures. And I don't think anybody on the ground could actually see it with their naked eye. It was only through this thermal camera. But damn, that's just one of 1,000 that we got. I mean, search it. Go on, look at the latest UFOs. I'm part of the Reddit subreddit, aliens body. Every single day, there is something new popping up on there. Every day. Hey, what is this? I saw this in Nashville, North Carolina today. What do you think it is? It's obviously an alien, bro. What are you talking about? You just want to get your credit for it. I mean, get crazy with it. Mars. You ever look up Mars anomalies? There's a lot of shit on that planet that does not look like a bunch of regular rocks. It's something that you can actually go on to the internet. I think it's NASA that has just access to all these giant pictures of Mars and the surface. And you yourself can go on there and be a little investigator and find what you think looks like weird shit. if you're watching the video, you can see here, like, look at all these smooth rocks. Look at all these things that don't really seem like they match with the other craggy rocks. There's tons of this shit out there. Then when you find out that the CIA on the CIA's website, again, if you're watching at home, I just pulled up a Freedom of Information Act page from CIA.gov talking about remote viewing. Remote viewing, if you're not familiar, is people who are trained to project their body or their mind out of their body wherever they are told to go. And they then view things and extract information, all that. Think about the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats, one of my favorites. It's basically that. Even in that movie, they're like, more of this is true than you would when you realize, yeah, oh yeah, Freedom of Information Act, baby. This thing has a guy, I believe it was remote viewer number 1, Joe McGonigal. I don't know if it has his name in here. Where he was instructed to view Mars 1 million years ago. And in his psychic travels, he came across people, and he has a whole backstory. They were trying to leave. They were waiting for help or something. What? Okay. That's real. I believe it's real for sure. Why not? I mean, where does it end? When do we hit the brakes on it? Because I think people are scared. People are scared of just how far it'll go, how mind-blowing it'll be. But also, I think a lot of people won't even have the time or energy to really give a shit, to really change who they are, how they operate, which kind of leads me to the bigger point of all of this is like, are we gonna take this as maybe a sign? Maybe we need to like take a step back and say, every single time somebody talks to an alien, they say, we need to take better care of the planet. We need to stop using nuclear bombs. Like, all this shit that's like pretty obvious. If you're talking humanity to be better, it seems like these aliens are saying that, you know? When do we start to be like, okay, if they can apparently read our thoughts and or implant thoughts into our minds, which is apparently a thing, if that's true, who says they can't just keep track of everything we've ever done? Who's to say they're not all sitting around waiting to see if we pull it off, if we flip the script? Maybe they know something's coming to hit us. You know, there's good evidence that like 12,000 years ago we got hit by a comet and tons of advanced civilization was destroyed. That's a little Graham Hancock theory that's really gained momentum. Thanks to Randall Carlson, geologist who's, kind of proven like you can't have nuclear glass at these levels of sediment in the American Northwest unless there was a nuclear explosion level amount of energy or heat. Maybe all the people that survived that were all the best of the best. Religions, all these things that we use to guide our way, even though, in my opinion, we all have it there. We all have it in our souls. We know the truth. We know when we do something wrong. We know when something's right. All the people out there that kind of justify whatever it is in their minds. Some people are better than others. Some people can really fool themselves. They can really trick that conscience that's been eating at them for years. You know, say, oh, I don't got it. Doesn't bother me. Oh, really? Well, it will eventually. Well, what if whatever these things are here to judge us? What if they're the God of the Bible? What if they're here to like run down the list of bad stuff, good stuff, and count up your points, and then send you to wherever the hell they send us to? It's just as likely as God coming down, who says that, you know, they didn't write that shit. Going back to like there being multiple species, I was wondering like what if all these different species or something, because there's a lot going on. There's an increased activity going on right now. It's like, what if they all knew the date? They're like, all right, we're going to watch these guys. You guys all agree to watch them? We're going to watch them. We're going to make a decision whether or not we shoot that comet in a different direction because they got their shit together or not. What if all these, like, what if we got the slacker aliens that are just showing up at the last second and be like, oh, hey, can I copy your paper, bro? Can I copy your notes? How they been doing? Are they doing all right? I think we should get... Oh, no, you're going against it? Okay, me too. We don't know. What if you're in the Truman Show right now? I'm really hoping somebody thought about that earlier today. What if I'm in the Truman Show? And then I'm sitting here talking to you, blowing your fucking mind. Blowing your mind, because it is all about you. I'm just some guy talking onto a microphone somewhere. Maybe I'm a robot. Maybe they programmed me to sit here, and then as soon as I stop recording this, I go, pew. And it's all about fucking Fuckhead Jones show. You know? I think that people in general need to start living that way. I think we all need to start living like it's the Truman Show. We're all being watched. Because the way things are going now, it ain't working. We are going to be fucked if we keep on like this. I mean, straight up. There's nothing sustainable about what we do. Nothing. Infinite growth. You better, if you're not growing, you're dying. Really? How does that not end up with one guy with all the money and then everybody else poor as fuck? Huh? Monopoly, the board game, was meant as a joke. And Americans ate it up. They're like, oh, this is great. It's just like what we do. What? No. You see how silly this is, though, yes? Nah. We'll figure it out. It'll trickle down. Okay. We need to really look at ourselves straight up. It's part of what I'm doing, why I'm here today, is I don't have a lot of ways. Well, I say that, that's an excuse. But I'll say this much. The best way, I think, for me personally, to spread a message of love is through a microphone and a show. Because that's what we need right now. We need to do what Jesus would do, and I hate that I say it like that, but there's something to it. What would Jesus do? And when I say Jesus, I mean the embodiment of love and forgiveness, not the surfer guy from Glendale that, sold you weed in the 60s. Not that person. The idea. Turn the other cheek idea. I mean, there's just so much that is justified that is so terrible. We can't put all the weapons away, the economy will collapse. Well, maybe we need to change our motherfucking economy if it's based on killing people. Or selling shit that will kill people. Like, are we for real going to keep this up because we can't? And if there's anything those aliens do, it's that. If they can do all these predictions, they can do these calculations. If our stupid monkey brains can do it, they're definitely doing it. They've probably already seen what happens. That's what's crazy. You know, like nuclear bombs. That really set the shit off. Like, once we started popping those things off, they showed up like, hey, you spilled my coffee when you set the thing off in this other dimension. So if you could stop, that'd be cool. I wonder, like, if, because, you know, we haven't had nuclear bombs and war go off really since World War II. We had two of them. There's part of me that hopes or thinks that, like, nuclear disarmaments maybe already happened. Like, there's lots of stories of UFOs surrounding nuclear missile silos. Lots of them where they're setting them off without authorization, but also ones where they're just, they had one with a dummy nuclear head in it, and this thing went out, shot little laser beams into it, and it fell into the ocean. That's pretty cool. Are they going to do that every time? What if we shoot 1,000? Do they have 1,000 of those things? I don't want to go too long because this really went longer than I thought it would, but because I do have so much more. We didn't even really talk about Ghost Adventures all that much because I have a lot to say about that. But the point being is, let's do better. Let's forgive the people we need to forgive. Let's get our shit together in case these motherfuckers are like, hey, time to count up your score, motherfucker. You're done. That's it. Balls down, pencils down. There's a lot of, there's a lot of justification that goes on. Justifying wars or, violence altogether. Politicians. We don't need politicians. We don't need those people. We can do Twitter polls for our laws if we really wanted to. But the people that will say that we can't do that are the politicians. There's a huge, major amount of work that needs to be done to move things in the right direction. I have very few, if any, answers to how we do that. But it is my opinion that the mindset shift is the first thing, and we'll figure it out from there. How can you today change this? How can you move in that direction? Ask yourself that. Write it down. Put it on your to-do list. If you don't have an idea, I'll give you an idea. Call somebody. Reach out to an old friend. Reach out to somebody that might not be a friend. Reach out to somebody you got beef with. Hey, let's bury the hatchet. This is stupid. Eat shit. Eat a big plate of shit for dinner. That could be your homework. Because our stupid egos can't keep running everything. Or we're done. It'll either be us or something outside of us, but it's not sustainable. That's the word of the day. I don't want to go too long. I feel like I've kind of preached at you guys pretty hard today. But I'm going to do my best to keep up with it, to keep spreading a message of love. Act with love. Are you doing the most loving thing? Or are you doing the thing that you might not have done before, but like you're doing it now and you feel pretty good? Like that was good about 50 years ago, but now we need next level. You got to go harder. We all got to go harder in the paint, that's for sure. We need to really start loving each other. We don't got to like everybody. But we got to love everybody. I say that all the time. If you want to you got a bunch of money and you really, really want to put your money where your mouth is, sponsor the show. Make it so I could do this full time. Everything about that? Give you a guest spot. Come on in. I sat here and I had my podcast soundboard all fired up, ready to use it. And then I just started popping off. Like, I got this from Zach Bagans.
Am I connecting with some of the evil people?
I was going to drop that in when I was talking to the evil
Am I connecting with some of the evil people?
Some people call me cool, Eric.
You know, it don't matter. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm going to keep doing this. I swear to God. Law didn't think I was going to do it to begin with. But here I am. I did it. In your face. I love you, motherfucker. And I love all of you listeners. And now go out and love everybody.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
That's another one. Today I put that on there. Didn't even use it. Go out and do something totally out of character and loving for somebody with no expectations of retribution, no expectation of recognition. Do it because we're all watching you. You're on camera right now. I'm telling you, it's happening. You're the one. You're the one that's in charge of all this. And if you don't get it together, we're all fucked. So do me a favor. Listen to what I'm saying. Go start loving people. And let's all do better, everybody. I love you so much.